Everybody, Queen Crazy here, and if you haven't been checking the calculations, you may know, and probably would have guessed by now, this is the 40th episode of Wrestling Rant. Well, the 41st if you think the Q&A counts as the 40th, which I obviously do every now and again, but I'm going to make an exception in this case. If you haven't read the title already, still have no idea what this is about. This is, of course, my review, Queen Crazy's review of the latest WWE game outing, WWE 12, which I have played mostly non-stop for the past week or so now, and I'll tell you now, it took me a while to get through everything, and as you can tell by this little rock sticker right there, that means I got the limited edition. Hooray for me! Now, everybody is asking the question, everybody when buying this game was asking the same, similar question. Will it be better than No Mercy, which is obviously apparently, according to many, and especially many Attitude Era diehards, the greatest wrestling game ever created. Now, I've played No Mercy, right? This fucking flattens it. But everyone in my era of times, around the 2002-3-ish era, is already asking, has been asking since it came out in America, November 22nd, right? Is it better than Here Comes the Pain? That's the main question that people have been asking, because this, to me, I think Dave Reckoning is just below it, the greatest wrestling game ever created. And many will say this either holds a candle to it or doesn't hold any chance. And I had the unenviable task of playing through every single thing that this had to offer, and I am now going to give my comprehensive review of this most anticipated, most hyped WWE game. And to be honest, I'm a religious player of WWE games. They keep me going for a hell of a long time. Usually what happens is I create all the wrestlers based around myself and other people, create my own storylines, make my own pay-per-views, commentate on them, the usual, and I can go for ages until the next one comes out. Last year, WWE's late offering SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 was crap, so I was praying this was better, and thank fuck it is. I will start off, to me, the most important aspect of any wrestling game, right? People will say it's the graphics, the gameplay, the sound, all that stuff. No, to me, it's the roster, because the roster is by far the best part. Because you want to know who you get to control. And by God, when THQ said they were revamping the series, making it bigger, badder, better than ever, they really fucking meant it. They put the biggest roster I've seen in years, made it as up-to-date as possible. Putting in Karma, putting in Sin Cara, putting in Alex Riley, when those guys hadn't even debuted, haven't really been in the ring very much. At the time, it was put into production and finished production around the roster around WrestleMania time. They put in all the theme songs, sorry, including CM Punk's Cult of Personality theme, Dolph Ziggler's remix theme. They put as much as they could in there, and they made it so good. There were overall around 70 wrestlers. They put a shitload of divas out for DLC because there weren't too many. They put the King, JR, Michael Cole, Shawn Michaels in as DLC. They even put in Randy Savage, Mick Foley, and Batista coming in January. How epic is that? But of course, the biggest surprise, the best again, the legends always trumped tops. On Anderson, Demolition, and of course Brock Lesnar, the big three from that one that I felt were huge that weren't DLC. And I'm having a lot of fun with this roster because you know who are the main guys in the roster. You know you've got your Edges, your John Cena's, your Randy Orton's, your Rock, even your Shawn Michaels, because he's a 96 overall if you haven't downloaded it yet. And it's a great roster. I'm never going to die. It's probably the best roster I've played, well, since Here Comes the Pain, so, because that was so up to date. That was really up to date in itself. And I have to say, I've enjoyed everything. In fact, I've been playing a lot as Alex Riley recently. Very good, even though he is a very low rating, around 78 or something like that. Great, actually, to play with. And the movesets are so well done. The mannerisms, perfect. I have to say, the design of characters mostly has been fantastically well done. I mean, I will say for Kane, looks ugly, but then again, he always does in these games. Gameplay-wise, very easy to get into, because the rest, I've always been pissed off with the changing control methods, because people always say since, well, Here Comes the Pain, there have been a lot of issues with getting the controls right, because they've always been too complicated. Using the right analog stick to do grapples, using the RT button on a PS2 to R1 button to kind of do other things, and you put the face buttons to do all kinds of random shit with striking, and all that stuff. And you didn't really know what to do. And that's what pissed me off with the SmackDown games. Because even on the Xbox, it was even more confusing for me. And I was thinking, oh, come on, simplify the controls. I mean, I mastered 09. I then mastered 010's controls to the point where I really could play the game quite well on Legend difficulty. And then in 11, they just completely revamped it again. I couldn't control it. Sorry. But the best part about WWE 12, I have to say, is that the controls are really good to use. Very easy, very simple. All the grapples are done with the A button in A direction. Hold it for submission, grapple submissions, X for strikes, B for Irish whip. I can't remember what Y does to save my life. That really isn't very intelligent of me to do so. And for the most part, I think the best part of the control system, when you put them in the corner, you then have to just flick the directional stick up, and he puts them up on the top rope. You don't even need to press a button to do that. That's awesome. And it's fun, it's easy. I mean, Here Comes the Pains one was so easy. I didn't play it for about 3 years, went straight back into it, knew the controls straight away, would kick the shit out of things. This was so simple to do, and it made me feel really happy, because I often computer simulate my matches. Okay, for my storyline purposes. If I wanted to go back into this game, it would be piss easy. I mean, sure, I'd have to change the difficulty down a little bit, but hell, it'll be worth it, really. I mean, seriously, it's so easy to do. I mean, if anyone finds any difficulty with those controllers, you're either stupid or have absolutely no idea how you've never played a wrestling game before. God, I needed that. Sound quality, generally good. I mean, I do have slight issues with it, though. There were some issues with the sound quality that did get me annoyed. Because the biggest issue for me, as I have created wrestlers, and I do import their songs via the user playlist option, I was wondering to myself, will the bug that was in SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 still be there? And it is, to a lesser extent. Because the louder the song, the more muffled the announcer is, and the more subdued the crowd is. But that isn't a problem, because the volume for 11 was so loud you couldn't hear anything. At least on this one you can just about hear. At least on WWE 12 you can hear the announcer, you can hear the crowd. It's not too bad. And I turn the volume down on my TV a little bit, whilst for 11 I turn it down hugely. And it's still there, but I'm at least saying, okay, I'm going to use it. I do still have the issue with the main problem I did have with the last game as well, was that when you turned the voice option down, I thought, okay, you're turning the commentary down. Because in 2010, you had the commentary and voice bit of the crowd and the announcer separate, didn't you? Of course, they fused it all together, and that meant the commentary goes down, but also the ring announcer goes down, which obviously is annoying for me. And when I turned them all down, I don't want to hear the commentary, I then realised, because the commentators speak, after a wrestler wins, the sound then dips to a lower level so the commentators can speak, and then goes back up again. That pissed me off quickly. I then decided to put the commentary back on. And to be honest, it's the best commentary that I've heard on a WWE game in years. I have loved the quirks they put in, the intensity of the emotion they put in. In fact, the Inferno match has the best of the lot. The Inferno match, you could actually hear the fear in Michael Cole's voice when he's saying, no, please don't put him in the fire. Oh, God, please don't. And it's just awesome. You don't want to go around hearing them say repetitive lines over again. They actually put some feeling into what they're saying, and the confrontation between Cole and King is there, and it's refreshing. It's not like in because I mean, actually, JR was actually worse for commentary in these games than anything, because he didn't put too much emotion into his commentary style, which limited him quite considerably. And the sound of the crowd isn't too dead either. I mean, 2011 suffered from the obvious problem where it was dead all the way through, with only a few tiny minor crowd blips whenever something big happened, but then it petered away slowly. The crowd are good. I mean, they do make a lot of sound, but it is still quiet for its own liking. Graphics, I would say the graphics very good, because I've installed it on my Xbox now, and the graphics are phenomenal. I mean, they are so lifelike. It is amazing. I mean, I haven't got it. I mean, this is an HD ready TV, but I mean, my other one downstairs isn't. I want to see how that actually does well on the presentation side, but it looks phenomenal. The WWE logo coming in, the WWE HD, the presentation of this game, even in the main menus with that smoke and all the graphics when the cards come up, when you're ready to play a match, all looks so real, you kind of get bemused. Wow, what the fuck are we? We're not playing a game here, are we? It's kind of mind-blowing to me, thinking, I've never played a full WWE game in HD before, because TVs do suck. And they are phenomenal to look at. Makes you really, when I'm commentating on it, for my exhibition matches, I'm looking thinking, fuck yeah, great. I'm really thinking this is kind of real now. Awesome. Now I go on to the actual modes that people have gone on about. Let's see. Universe. Very, very much improved from last year. Universe last year was awful. You were saying it's your world. You make it yours. Your universe, make it yours. We couldn't. I got pissed off with it, and it annoyed me. There's so many customization options here. So many new things. Random superstars, title matches on weekly shows, interference at any time. Great cutscenes for all this stuff. I didn't get the same cutscene twice in my first couple of weeks. Great. And also, best part, the WWE draft idea. Whoever's idea that was, you should get a fucking raise. It was awesome. Just to see the draft unfold in front of you. Injuries too. Christian got taken out in one match. Missed him for most of the year. Really changed my booking. Great stuff. The only issue I do have is with it, you really can't do too much on the editing show option that they've put in this year. You can't put them any day of the week. You can't put more than a certain amount of matches on cards, which I can live with. I have to say, Universe mode is mostly faultless. I mean, the only other issue is, well, that you can't get rid of the Divas Championship or the Unified Tag Team titles without replacing with something else, and you've got to keep them in there somehow. And even more annoying is when you've got the titles on somebody, you can't actually vacate them like you can in exhibition mode. They've got to be on somebody, they just carry it around with them anyway, which is a bit flawed, because the announcer still announces them as such. And when I've got Demolition coming out as tag team champions, when I want them to be unified tag team champions, is not good. But that's why I've only used Universe for what it is. And also, even the momentum building system has a few flaws to it, where, because you can't obviously reset Universe mode, you can't put everything back to default. You can't put everything back to the beginning. Which means if you quit and say Mark Henry or Alberto Del Rio or Alex Riley or William Regal have really high attributes up in the hundreds, you can't change that and they're going to dominate and win everything. Not fun. Of course, I've already referenced in Universe mode. Why not put in the fact that they've included 23 titles in here? So much broad scope for usage now. Exhibition, vacating titles anytime. You could do anything with that, and it's fucking awesome. European title, light heavyweight title, all the stuff there. Storyline making mode, I didn't really use too much of it, but it was a bit... I found this hard to use when I originally got 2011, and it's still difficult for me to really grasp camera angles, various stuff. Only really do it if you're that interested in doing the story designer, because I won't use it. I often just envision its promos and all that stuff in my head and act them out with my best impersonations. Road to WrestleMania is the most critically lambasted of all the modes in this game. And I agree with many who say it was a bit flawed, because it was more promo related than actual wrestling. You didn't do too much, which bored me. I quit it. I wasn't really interested. Thank God I'd already used the unlock all cheat to get everything. And I know that was definitely worth it, wasn't it? What else? Create a Superstar, probably the same as last year, but a bit more refined. Definitely easy to say that the transparency tools come back, but not for all designs. That's another thing you've got to get this right next time, THQ. Transparency for all logos, not just the fixed design tattoos, okay? That's one thing that pissed me off. Also, hair coming out of the mask thing that used to do back a couple of years ago, keep that in, but bring that back as well. And any more flaws I can think of for this game? Not many, because this game, apart from a few little excerpts of flaws, hell, actually, I won't even go on this about Creighton Arena. Fucking awesome. Not even a lie. If you have not used Creighton Arena yet, go use it. They, of course, need to put in the creator stage section for next year, but if that's going to be done, this will be the greatest mode in history. I created my British Uprising pay-per-view arena. Fun to have that there. I could replace TLC or Fatal 4-Way on my calendar. Epic. And I'm now coming to my final thoughts. Here Comes the Pain. One of the best games ever released for wrestling and or gaming for me, hands down. Because obviously, the one thing that this obviously lacked was a good creation mode for Creator Superstar. 'Cause that's shit. If you don't believe me, go buy this game. You can get it really cheap now. Check it out. Because it is rubbish. I mean, the story mode is the one compelling thing that made this game have so much replay value. WWE 12, the creation options are definitely there. There are lots of room for customization and freedom to do what you want. The actual story mode is very limiting. You don't do much, you're consigned to major roles, and it is a bit boring. Sound is a bit flawed, and everything else, I would say, is just about bang on. This is definitely the best wrestling game I've played since Day of Reckoning in 2004. I haven't got the box up here with me. But does it beat Here Comes the Pain? I don't think so. Here Comes the Pain, you haven't got commentary. It feels aggressive, it feels fast. The gameplay here may be improved, new Predator technology, it all works well for making an intense match. But I do feel that gameplay is flawed, because to me, it felt slow. In comparison to this, the gameplay was way faster in this. It felt arcadey, sure, but Here Comes the Pain and a lot faster. And it made it a lot funner, a lot more intense, and they lasted a hell of a lot longer. Matches I've done in here, singles match only lasted, one case, about 5 minutes. About 4 or 5 minutes. This took ages. This, when I simulated the computer match, it took nearly about half an hour to get one match done. And that was that took ages. That was between, I had a fatal 4-way, of course, so that didn't help. But I will give this its props. THQ, you made a fucking epic game. And I'm telling you, if you haven't bought this and if you're a guy, much like Mark Pearson, who shied away from the newer games, who was stuck with No Mercy, who probably didn't check out Here Comes the Pain, I don't know if he did, if you obviously not on YouTube anymore. If you have been absent from checking out these wrestling games, then check this out. Sure, it may not have all the stars you remember, but this is definitely worth your money. Get the one with the. I mean, The Rock will be released in about a week or two, a couple of weeks or so on the marketplace. Get it for that. Make it the best gaming experience you can. It's a great game. I'm probably not going to put it down for a while if I interchange between Saints Row and FIFA and possibly a bit of Sonic Generations. But I'm probably going to play that for most of the new year. So that's all my gaming done for the year. I can't even laugh because I'm still bogged down with this cold that I had a week ago. And guys, that's the end of my review. I'll give this game a 9 out of 10. I'll agree with IGN. It's got some flaws, and the Red WrestleMania mode takes it way down. Way down. Good tip for THQ. Bring back a story mode that's similar to the one used in here. Because it was refreshing with any wrestler. It was fun. And Road to WrestleMania, I believe, has run its course. Because when you had the options with it, it worked. 2 or 3 people? No. Didn't work at all. So I'd leave it refreshing the idea of Road to WrestleMania. It would be way better if you make something new for yourself. And actually put the United Kingdom storyline into real life. Because we'd give a shit about some of the people. It'll make William Regal, Drew McIntyre actually have purpose, really, won't it? Makes sense? And guys, that's my end of my review for WWE 12, and I notice it says 15 minutes, but actually it's 18 minutes down there. Now, I understand you people are thinking, you lie, you didn't do this in 15 minutes. Obviously, this is the first 15-minute video I've done in this new record from webcam feature update that made me do way longer. So, what I'm going to do is try and make sure every 15 minutes of Fame video is roughly 15 minutes. If I go over, you can call me out on it and basically tell me I suck. But then again, you loving people of the YouTube community, you won't do that, would you? Or would you? There's a lot of trolls out there, they'd be willing to rip me to shreds, wouldn't they? Guys, I'm saying if you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more, you know what button to press, and that is the subscribe button up there. I can't actually remember what video I'm doing next, but Lord knows. It'll probably be my TLC predictions. No, I'll think about it somehow. I'll think of a topic for a video next week. Watch this space, watch my Facebook, add me down there on Facebook, comments in the comment section. You can like this video as well. And guys, I'll be seeing you next week. And remember, any big wrestling stories come, into the light, you'll see me doing a breaking news video to start some discussion going, I hope. Guys, I've been Queen Crazy. You've been people watching. This has been my WWE 12 review. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Cheers.